it is a way to achieve immortality, the Dalai Lama once said. And rightly so, as only by sharing thoughts and ideas we can discover new things together. Hello everyone, we are Amit and Daniëlle, founders of heygroentje.nl. Through heygroentje, our mission is to introduce people to the amazing vegan Indian cuisine and to discuss topics we find interesting with a wider audience. In this episode of the heygroentje podcast, we are going to talk about the impact of social media and watching news. We aim to answer questions like how social media or news impact our lives, how much time do we spend on social media, positives and negatives of social media. We'll talk about a really interesting documentary we watched, The Social Dilemma, and our key takeaways from it. And we'll share why we don't watch news anymore. Daniëlle has prepared something for it. She wants to share her experience about that. And yeah, that way I would also like to welcome her on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah. And just another day, another talk. It's have you got used to the idea of just sharing our conversations with a wider audience?
Yeah, I'm getting more used to it, and I just like the talks with you. And with some topics, I know how you're thinking about things, and you know how I'm thinking about things. But still, even now, we get to know more about each other.
Yeah, every podcast is a learning opportunity, for both of us to even get to know each other better, because we know each other like almost 5 years now. But every day, it's still getting to know parts of each other, especially coming from different cultures.
Yeah, and we also learn still from each other, because from some topics we are discussing, you have more knowledge about. Some things I have a bit more knowledge about.
Yeah.
And
interest.
That's also.
That's important.
It's more that also. And it's really nice to keep learning from each other.
Yeah.
And this is one of them, because I have more troubles with social media and you're more with the news. So we're all going to discuss that today.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting today with the kind of questions we have here. And I think our listeners would also like to know insights into how we use social media, or how often we use it, how often we watch news, what kind of news we watch, what kind of social media we use, and how we see its impact on our lives.
Yeah.
How do you think social media has impacted our lives? Let's take things like one at a time. Let's focus first on the social media, and then we'll come back to the news later.
Yeah. Yeah, social media is our work also.
Yeah, that's right.
And I love it and hate it at the same time. Because it's a really nice platform to share our thinking and get in contact with people who are like-minded, who are having the same thinking as us, who are liking the same things. And in the beginning heygroentje is on social media, and the most we are doing on Instagram.
Yeah.
And in the beginning I was a bit scared to share everything I wanted. But then really quick I realized I shouldn't be scared of what people are thinking, because if we share what we like, people will start following us who have the same thinking.
You always attract the right crowd.
Yeah. So that is that's the thing I really like about social media. It's our work and we like to share things. But at the same time, it's also difficult. Because if you're on Instagram, you keep scrolling, you just keep going. At least I do that. And I think a lot of people with me.
Yeah.
And it's also with the whole algorithm, you have to, especially if it's your job, you want that people find you. And you keep thinking about, what is the best time? What is the best day? Should I post something now? How many times should I post? And with the stories, and then also reels are coming. There keep being so many things. And if it's your work, you really, you have to think about it.
Yeah.
but I also try to let go a bit.
Yeah.
Like if it's not a good time,
Yeah.
then not.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like leaving apart the work aspect of it, because that also came in the last year or so that it really grew. Before that, like going really to the question of influence, like of social media on your life, like social media itself is not very long around, maybe a decade, 10 years. Yeah, sounds quite long. Maybe a little bit more, like some platforms are for 12 years. But how do you think it has impacted your life in that time? Do you see a difference in the time when we didn't have social media, and what changed after we had it, like personally for you?
I think when I went to high school, I was around 12.
Mm-hmm.
Then the time came of you need a phone. You're having a phone, and I remember that I didn't like that.
Yeah.
When
did you get your first phone?
I think I was 8 or 9.
Oh,
but
that's really young.
Yeah, but I couldn't do anything with that.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not like how it's now.
One of those Nokia
I had
phones.
Because my parents were working, and I went to school. But in Netherlands, you're always having a lunch break, and in the lunch break, you're going home.
Yeah.
But my parents were working, so I went home by myself.
Just to be reachable.
Yeah, I say 8 or 9, but I think it even can be 10.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That age, yeah.
Around that age. So I got then a simple phone, and the only thing I could do is calling.
Yeah.
And also calling only my parents, because who else should I call in that age?
Yeah.
So I got my first phone, but it had really a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I also remember that a lot of times I was not really using it, and I didn't like it that much. But then when I went to high school, so around 12 years old, I saw that more friends around me, they got a phone, and
was it like a smartphone already in that time, or like with screen, and they could could have social media apps and games and
but I don't know if like Facebook was already there. It's such a long time back already.
I think it was 2008 or something, or 2009 that really...
It came around that time, I think, all the social media. I remember, and a lot of people also know Hives. I don't know, was it a thing in India, Hives?
No. There, I remember Orkut. Orkut was something, that was quite famous, but that's the only thing that comes to my mind. I never had an account there as well. Yeah,
in Netherlands, and I also think America and just Europe also, we had Hives.
Yeah.
And people started to go on Hives. So if other people do, you're also curious.
Yeah.
And I remember that I think my mom was really good with that she let me and my sister go on Hives, but she also took it herself just to see what it was.
Yeah.
So she wanted, because we came home with stories like, my friends are having Hives, I also want that. So my mom also took Hives to see what it was, and then she made an account for us. And then after Hives, then Facebook came, and even later Instagram. But when I was in the time of high school, it wasn't like how it's now, and I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah.
Because
I think our generation is like, although like we make the same mistakes of overusing it now, but we are really happy that during our childhood we didn't have it the way 7-8-year-olds now have it, like having an iPhone in their hand and not wanting to go out to play.
You're seeing kids from now 7-8 years old
having an iPad,
and they're having a better iPhone than I'm having now.
Right.
And I'm thinking, how? You don't need that, just go play outside.
And why?
So I'm really thankful for the time that I was not having it. But what I said, around high school, it came more, you kind of needed a phone, because at one point my friends, they were meeting, and I didn't know always everything because I was not using my phone that much. So in that way, I was a bit forced to also use my phone, otherwise I didn't know things. That's a bit
the
fear of missing out,
the FOMO effect.
It really came that time, and from that moment, if you start using your phone more and more and more, you cannot imagine not using it anymore.
Yeah.
How was it for you? Because you had a phone later, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm also a little bit older than you, so
Yeah.
of course I have that advantage that I could have those 4 years extra in my life that I didn't have like a phone, a smartphone. And I still remember that we had this landline phone, with a connection that you dial around it, and my school friends were calling me on that if they wanted to reach me sometime for sharing or discussing homework, for example, or discussing or making appointments, for some school project. Yeah, for playing, for example, they never did that, because that was also interesting, because my friends, we were living in an apartment, and on the third floor, there was no lift, so they didn't want to climb 3 floors, so they were always in the evening, especially in summers. I have the memory that it was like in the day 45-50 degrees, and around 4 it was already going down, and children really wanted to play. And my friends were always downstairs and shouting with a cricket bat in hand. They wanted that I also join them, and then we go to the house of another friend and see if he is there, and if not, then we move on like that. But
in Netherlands was the same. I also had that friends came over to ask if I could play outside. Yeah. But what I said, it was till I was 10.
Yeah. No, for me
maybe 12.
Yeah, maybe it was like 15, 16.
Yeah. That's like really those few years, our differences in age also.
Yeah. So you could really see, as smartphone came, as people started being behind the screens, it became less and less.
Things changed.
Yeah, I didn't miss that, because I had a childhood where smartphone, it was not really a thing. It didn't exist at that moment, or it was too expensive. I still remember the time when the first iPhone was launched, somewhere in the 2000 something. I remember a guy in my gym, I joined a gym at that point, that he ordered an iPhone. That was a little bit later, towards after he ordered the first iPhone, and it was really a thing, and everybody wanted to know, and it was not available in India, and he ordered it from the US, and it came, and it was such an attraction in the whole gym. What is this thing? That it's like a computer in such a small space.
Yeah, but when did you got your first phone?
Yeah, I think towards the end of my school. I think I had kind of a smartphone, I would say, when I was 16. Yeah. I had it.
But it was a smartphone, or what I had, a small phone for calling?
In the middle. I think it qualified as being a smartphone. Okay. It of course had a screen, but there were not a lot of apps that you could do things with. Of course there was Facebook.
But that's then really a smartphone, right?
Yeah, it was. But I didn't really use it like a smartphone, I would say.
Okay.
For me at that age, it was I also got I think around 14, a phone like a Nokia, where I was playing games like Snakes and Ladders and all. And
a Pac-Man or not?
Yeah. And then I got the smartphone, and there I just started playing better games. So for me it was like that. Yeah. But really I got to use it 17, 18, I really started to use how people use it nowadays.
Yeah, so I also started with a simple phone, but when I was 12, I went to also a smartphone. Yeah. But I also from 12 years old, since high school, I really started to use it as a smartphone. Yeah. But for you, that was later then. But I think that's only better. I'm even a bit jealous at that.
Yeah, I understand that, and it has had quite an influence on me, and I find our generation, also you, really lucky that we didn't grow up with smartphones. Yeah. But that means that our generation then also tries to overcompensate at times.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, and that is not good.
Yeah, because how much time are we spending now on our phone?
Yeah, that's...
You should take a look.
Yeah, I already did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I already... Because, yeah, we decided to have this podcast. So, and I'm also a bit ashamed of letting you know how much it is. Yeah, I was also surprised. I don't keep an eye on it like quite long. That's good and bad at the same time because, if you have to do that, then you're already spending a lot of time on it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people also spend a lot of time on it without knowing.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. So I spend around like 5 hours a day. Like last week I did, and I saw it was up 30% than last time. So for me, it's between 4 and 5 hours a day. This week it was a little bit more.
It also depends on work with us, because we are also using our phones for work.
Yeah, I have a work app on my phone, and I saw, like, if I look at it now, I see that like that is the third most used thing in the whole week.
Yeah. So
I use it also for work, so it's a bit double. We as compared to screen time, we both don't really like watch a lot of TV. So for us, it's either the laptop and the phone.
Yeah.
So that's
and
our
mostly the laptop is also for work, and so it's a bit double for us because we are not only being on our phone doing watching videos or being on TikTok or Instagram, but we are also using it really for work.
How much is it for you?
Yeah, you're using it more than I do.
Yeah, I already guess that.
Yeah, I am between 3 and 4 hours.
Yeah, because we spend so much time together, so I already knew you were an hour or so less than me.
Yeah.
Because
I think around 1 hour less than you always.
Yeah, because there are more moments when you say to me that oh, you're too much on your phone, or you have to listen to me, you have to do this, then the other way around. So
that's course, correct.
You are longer on it. I'm longer on it than you.
But I think I spend more time on different apps than you do.
Yeah, that's right. Like if I look, like I'll just go and look at the screen time app. Like you see that the kind of activity that is there. Like I read a lot of news that will come on later. Like we discuss about news, and it's quite interesting because I read a lot of self-development articles where people talk about 5 tips to be less stressed about work, or how to improve your life in mentally, physically, how like yoga influences your life. Like these are just some examples of articles that I read.
But more, you also read like the real news, right?
And that's the algorithm as well. Nowadays a bit less actually, but before it was more. But the algorithm sees the kind of news that you read, and if on Google Chrome you have I have Chrome on my phone, and there if you just scroll on the main page, it will give you news that you click on more. So a while back, just for example, before the Ukraine war, I was reading a lot about it. So almost every article was about the war.
And who was the person to not?
That was you. And that changed now in the direction of lifestyle, and now I read lifestyle articles, so they figure out that I like that, and the algorithm always gives that first. So like the other news, the negative news is behind.
Later we will go a bit more to the news, but what else are you doing on your phone?
WhatsApp for me is number 2 after news, and for me I find it also really important, and that's one of the positives. Like we discussed now in a bit also the positives and negatives of social media. The positives, like me coming from India, I've been living in Netherlands for almost 6 years now, to reach back out to family and friends in India. It's a really good tool, like social media, and WhatsApp really helps me with that. So that is a lot of video calling back home. Like I call back home every day. It's maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes in a day, sometimes half an hour. I call friends back home, also here in Netherlands or around the world. Like I have quite a lot of friends. Like I have a friend in America, a friend I have in Dubai, in Germany I have friends. So it's a lot of contact with friends, right? And the third is a work app, of course, and then Instagram. Instagram is also it's like 2 hours in a week. For many people, it's maybe too much. For some people, it's nothing. Some people maybe spend 2 hours a day on Instagram. It's also mostly work related. Like it's not doing the work, but keeping track of it. Like what is going on. A little bit of marketing, like seeing like what the trends are. Like we do, of course, a lot of blogging about veganism, vegan food, Indian cooking. So I just keep an eye on that. Like some new recipes, some ideas. I'm on there. Yeah, and then just listening music like Spotify and stuff. Like those are the kind of things. And
so for you, it's mostly news articles and getting in contact with people. Yeah. For me, it's different.
Yeah, what is it? Like, I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm seeing that I spend the most time on Instagram.
Yeah.
But I don't want to talk everything good because I also do nice things on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the work goes through my phone, like posting Instagram posts.
Mm-hmm.
All the stories, making reels.
Yeah.
It all goes through me and my phone.
Yeah.
So in that way, I understand why I'm spending the most time on Instagram. But I'm also not gonna lie, I also like scrolling.
Yeah.
Because especially now you have all those nice cooking videos on Instagram, and I just keep looking at it.
Yeah, for inspiration.
The funny videos and. It's I just like Instagram as a platform, and I'm using it for work, but also to see other things, what is happening, and I just like it. But the second thing for me is YouTube, and I think what you are having with news, I'm having with YouTube
with videos. Like,
I'm also watching a lot of interesting videos there. Like I cannot say an example right now, but just videos where I can learn from more. Also, sometimes I also like to watch once in a while
vlogs.
But I'm not the person who keeps watching thousands of vlogs. No, I'm having 1 to 3 people I really like to follow, and they are watching. But I'm also watching cooking videos on YouTube, and so that's really for me the things I'm using the most.
Yeah. But did you know that we are, like you at least, you're the average in the world. Like if you go by a study, I read about a study they did on around 10,000 participants, but that was in the US, of course, so I don't know about...
It's a bit similar,
it's similar, you can
West.
compare it.
Yeah.
And in 2021, the average amount of time people spent on mobile devices was 4 hours.
Oh, so I'm the average person.
And I am above average on that.
I would like to go under the average, but...
And it's also interesting that on average, we pick up our phones 58 times a day.
Yeah, that's so many times.
Yeah, that's really a lot, and I think we both are around that. Like at least 50 times a day we are picking up our phone.
Oh.
Like, do you remember a day when... Like, I think that's a nice question to ask ourselves. Like, do we remember a day when we went without our phone? Like, I already have a day in mind when we did, but like, do you? Like, I'm curious if you remember it. Like, when we didn't touch our phone for a whole day.
I remember a day.
Yeah.
But that's quite a sad day because it was really recent.
Yeah.
But you think about another day, I think.
Yeah.
So let's first tell which day.
It was in India. Like I'll just give you guess. Like we went somewhere and phones were not allowed.
In the plane. There. Oh no, the temple.
Yeah. So no screen time at all, eh? So in a plane you can still watch videos.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that was it's the Akshardham temple in New Delhi. It's one of the biggest in the world, and there are no phones allowed inside, and you can spend a whole day there. We have been there already a couple of times on both of your visits to India. and we leave our phones behind, and we just enjoy the tranquility, the peace, like that the temple has to offer, and the stories.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
We always, when we come back home, we are really relaxed.
Yeah.
Because we saw really nice things, we learned a lot there, and we were not on our phones.
Right.
Yeah. But I was thinking about another day, and I'm thinking about it because I think you were more on your phone that day, that time. But when we lost our daughter Sanvi, it's a sad story. But if you follow us on Instagram and social media, you will get to know about it.
Yeah. It's already a month around, like a little bit. It's over a month back that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, we're planning maybe to talk a bit more about what happened later. But where I want to talk about today is that after we lost our daughter, I didn't want to be on my phone for maybe 2-3 days.
Yeah,
because
it was quite understandable.
Yeah, like all the contact went through my mom with the hospital, and you had contact more with friends on your phone. But for me, I just didn't want to be on my phone, and also because with social media, because if I'm on my phone, my finger goes automatically to social media, to Instagram. And because the last months I looked a lot up about pregnancy and babies, the algorithm gave me a lot of footage of babies. And for at that point I didn't want that. I didn't want to look at it. The confrontation, how do you say that?
Confrontation.
It was
confrontation.
Yeah, it's a difficult word. But it was too much for me. So I didn't pick up my phone, I think at least for 2, maybe 3 days.
Yeah. And that's also like, it's nice that you say that, because that shows also another side of the reality, how our brains are being manipulated by social media by always showing us the positive pictures, about showing us always the happy side of things, how things are, like always the perfect picture of someone's life, how they portray. And soon, like when we discuss like the documentary, like I would like to discuss the social dilemma. It shows how, like I remember like a saying from that documentary, where there are only 2 industries that call their the people who are on the platform users. That's social media and the drugs industry. That is.
Because social media is a bit like a drug. You keep coming back.
Yeah, people curate like perfect lives of themselves in like their own bubble. And that's what they want to portray. And when there are life events that are not like go according to plan, or there are just unfortunate things happening, at those moments you realize that how fake everything is.
Yeah, but I also understand that that why all the nice and positive things are on Instagram, because that are the things you like to share,
right?
And the bad things or the more negative things you don't like to share. It's the same with us. When we are feeling good and happy, we like to share things, but we also try to if things are not going that nice, or we're not feeling good, we also try to share that. But even we can do that more. But when you're not feeling good, you also don't like to share. And I think everyone is having that. So I think the most important is for people to know that it's not real, everything you see on Instagram.
No.
It's a side of the person.
Quite a lot of negatives, like some that come to my mind, like are depression and anxiety. A lot of people suffer from that. They have like the fear of missing out that we discussed about. That all their friends and family, they are sharing things on a platform, and people who are not there, they feel they really miss out on something. They have unrealistic expectations about things. Unhealthy sleep patterns, because I remember a phase when we decided to not take our phones to the bedroom. It's a bit on and off for us, but I think everyone is better off by just switching off their phone at night or not just taking it to the bedroom.
Yeah.
That's the best. If you have to wake up at a certain time by an alarm clock next to you, just an old school alarm clock, that works much better than having your phone with you.
Yeah.
A lot of people, especially young girls, have a negative body image. That's discussed also in the documentary, how the self worth or the sense of self-worth has gone down among young teenage girls over the years with the rise of social media.
Yeah, but the good thing is also that I see on Instagram things are changing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
More people are showing more who they are.
Yeah.
They are not that scared anymore to show who they are and their imperfections.
Mm-hmm.
And the best tip I can give everyone on social media,
Mm-hmm.
only follow the people
Yeah.
that give you a good feeling
Yeah.
about yourself.
Yeah.
So I follow a lot of nice people, like we follow because we don't have a personal account, but only with
Mhm.
heygroentje we have an account. We follow people that inspire us.
Yeah.
And I'm not following people who are making me feel bad about myself. And that is not,
Yeah.
it's not that they do it on purpose,
Mm-hmm.
but it's mostly that you feeling uncomfortable or getting,
Yeah.
it's more
but
your
on that
thinking.
point, I think a bit differently because I have a feeling that you should anyway, people should decrease the amount of time on social media
Yeah, I agree to that.
and the amount of people that they follow.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what kind of people they are, and there's a big range of people. Like, you cannot say for yourself if what gives you a good feeling and what not. Like, that can be different for different people to make a decision on, because there's a bigger thing working in the background. That's the algorithm that is making you have decisions, and that comes maybe from my reading of the book Sapiens, like where I read that like the decisions that we make are often not like really our decisions, and that are influenced by bigger things happening around us.
Yeah, I agree to that, but at the same time I also think that we are like, if something gives me a bad feeling, I know I shouldn't follow that anymore. But I also think that maybe I'm a bit stronger in that, and maybe if I was like 10 years back, when I was younger, I had more difficulties with that. But one thing you might not know about Instagram these days, because I'm spending more time there, is that if you go to your Instagram feed, you can decide, because of the algorithm, Instagram is showing you things you might like, but you can also click on it that you only want to see the people you're following. Did you know that?
No. I had no idea.
No, I was already thinking that. It's new, it's since a few months, I think. So a lot of times I'm going to my feed and I click on the ones, I only want to see the post of people I follow. And that is really nice. They came with something new.
It's quite interesting,
Yeah, so we said there are so many positive and negative things about social media. And we also struggling with it.
Yeah, the negatives I already mentioned. Like, positives, if you have to put in line, like you have, like, as we mentioned, to stay connected, especially for me, with family and friends worldwide via FaceTime, Facebook, WhatsApp. You have quick access to information and research. I read a lot of lifestyle articles to grow, like for personal development, for example. You can get a lot of good things from it, and you have like you can learn a lot of things online. You have so much content nowadays available. You can follow the people you like, as you mentioned, like follow people you can really learn from, see as an example. It's a great marketing tool, of course. Like, for a business like us, we would maybe not survive without Instagram. It provides a lot of opportunity for people, like in businesses, like to grow.
But we mentioned it really shortly about a social dilemma.
Yeah.
Do you want to say a bit more about it? Because we really like the documentary.
I wanted to save the best for the last. That's how I should put it. Like, it's already quite a long time back we watched it. But there are many things still that stayed in my mind. And I would say, like, just after watching the documentary, I deleted my personal Facebook. I got off Instagram personally. Like I still have the account, but I have it deactivated both places. I'm not using it since, so it's already over a year. I have my love and hate relationship with social media. Before that, I have had it. But for a long time now, I'm not doing that, and I'm happy with that. Like, there was a moment when I was sharing, for example, a lot of stories about like personal things and like travels that we did together, so that my friends and family in India, I can keep them updated, like with what I'm up to. But I'm not doing that now.
Yeah, for me it was the same, because after we watched, I also I'm not having a personal Instagram account anymore.
No.
And I'm having Facebook, also mainly for work, but I deleted it from my phone. And I'm only using it on the laptop, for example, if I have to do something for work. So I don't feel like before, when I was waking up, the first thing I was doing was scrolling to Facebook. And now I'm not doing that anymore, and I'm happy that I made that change.
Yeah, so it looks like we both took some action, like after watching the documentary, and it's a tip to our listeners, like who have already watched it, and some people remember it, have took some action. I think still you should give it a shot. Go watch the documentary. There are people from the industry, people who have been at like big or good positions at Google, Facebook, who have now left the company, and they share their insights. And I remember like a few points, like from one that really stuck with me, like if you are offered something for free, that keeps you hooked on it for hours at a time. So you know what I'm talking about, social media. Then it's not free. It's because you are the product. Like that's how they make money. They make money of you. Because they kind of profile everyone, and the algorithm like kind of they show it in the form of in kind of a story of a young guy who gets like caught up into something because of social media, because of watching like YouTube videos which show him some kind of I forgot like what kind of stories that are not true. Like, and it's really
like
sad.
Fake news.
There
was a lot of fake news. And the best thing about this documentary is that you learn how social media is working. And we also have our issues with social media, and we also not say, oh, you should delete everything, but you should be aware of how social media is working. And with this documentary, you really learn how it's working.
So we should have like limits on like how it is, because we should not see social media as our life. We should not curate our lives around this sense of perfection, because it's in terms of like short-term signals like hearts and likes, and it's just not the truth. Like, it's creating like a fake sense of who we are as people. And if you do that, like, it will enforce you into a vicious cycle where you're like, what's the next thing, and I need to do now, and it's just an endless cycle. And you see, like, if so many people do it at the same time, like how many are we now, like in the world, like 7 billion plus. It will be a really sad world, I think.
Let's continue to the news side. Because social media and news are in a lot of things, it's similar. But let's go a bit deeper into the news, because I'm not watching it anymore. With the news, like, I think a lot of people know that news is often focused. You worked in media, like for our listeners who don't know, like Daniëlle studied media management. So she knows like what sells. Like, you have kind of an idea, like sensational stuff sells like everywhere, especially with news. And that has its negative. Of course, the makers want to make the most money, want to get the most attention, and it's human psychology to fall for things that are shocking, that are sensational, and more often than not, that are just negative things. Yeah.
And when you consume negative information, your nervous system causes your body to release stress hormones. Like our body has like adrenaline, cortisol. These are like depressive hormones that is being released. Like this is also one of the articles I read. Like this is news I consume. So yeah, it was a different kind of news. And this is your body's reaction to a crisis. So something bad that happened in your life, you have this. And the same you get while on the news hour. Like you see everything as dull, the whole world collapsing, and you see only the bad things. So the stressful news can cause someone to feel uncomfortable. And some people have physical symptoms. They have anxiety. They have fatigue. They cannot sleep. So watching too much of it can cause one to live in a state of constant worry, and they feel like doomsday has never been closer. Like that's my feeling. What do you think about it? Like, and how often do you watch news? Like,
now not anymore.
Yeah, not in front of me. No, so I don't.
No. Also, I'm not watching it at all.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm seeing things on Instagram sometimes, but like really watching the news on the computer, on a TV, or in a newspaper, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
And I also wrote a blog about that. It's online on our website. We will also link it in the description.
Yeah.
On YouTube at least. But there are a few reasons why I stopped working. Why I stopped watching the news.
Yeah.
And one of the things, as you already mentioned, it's really negative.
Yeah.
And
it's mostly negative, sensational.
Yeah, and I kind of have the feeling that a lot of people, because they are watching the news, they are getting scared for the world.
Yeah, and they have a negative viewpoint about cultures, about countries, about certain groups of people.
Yeah. And I didn't want to get that negativity in my head every day. Yeah. I try to live a positive life. Yeah. And every time I'm reading sad or bad articles, I got really sad myself, and I don't want that.
And you get a feeling that that's all that is in the world, because there's so much beautiful stories around that don't reach us the whole day, and the 1% of everything that is negative reaches us, unfortunately, and that gives us a perception that this is how the world is around us.
Yeah, and I think that's not good. Yeah. And I remember when I told people around me I'm not watching news anymore, people were saying to me, but can you not watch the news? You need to know what is happening in the world, right? Yeah. And do you know what I told them? I still know what's happening because everyone is telling me.
Yeah.
If something,
thanks to family and friends.
If something really bad happens, if like something really big happens,
it's on social media.
I get to know it.
Like, you'll be called by family, by friends, they will let you know.
Yeah. So everything that is happening that is really important to know, so you get to know.
Yeah, it's really difficult to filter that out, because then if you are having a smartphone around and the internet connection, it's really difficult to escape like important stuff. Yeah,
so I still know what is happening in the world, but the difference is now that when something, like something really recent is the war between Ukraine and Russia, I got to know it because other people told me. Yeah. And it's good that I know what is happening, and I'm happy that people are telling me, but I don't feel like I have to read everything about it.
Yeah, it's also like one should not feel the need to know all the details about what is happening, because that is going to play with you mentally. Yeah.
But you also experienced that.
Yeah, I did that.
Because when we got to know about the news, you read so much about it.
Right, yeah. And I fell into a trap, I would say, like for a week. I'm really thankful to you. I could get out of that. And I don't usually have it. Like I don't really follow stuff that that long. And
Yeah, sometimes you're having your moments like now,
Right.
like when
Yeah.
the news came
and
out.
you see also like the kind of emotions that come out when one does that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately it's happening with a lot of people. So the best is to make rules for yourself and don't worry about missing out on important news, because that will reach you anyway.
Yeah.
If it's that important,
Yeah.
you should filter out most of it anyway from your
Yeah.
life. It's of no need. It's only going to make your life worse. So yeah, that's the side of news. And I think we had quite a nice discussion about like this topic, about social media and news and the impact of it on our lives. Is there a way you want to sum it up, like our conversation?
Yeah, I think it was really clear also for our listeners that we also have our troubles with social media.
Yeah,
we
of
are
course.
liking it for so many things, but also for so many things we are not liking it that much. And yeah, it's important that for yourself, also for us, we have to see what works for us. And it's a struggle that is still there, and we try to find a way in that.
It's important to be conscious about it.
Yeah.
It's important to recognize the emotions that you're getting.
Yeah.
And what really helps, like I would like to end on that note, is to shut off all the noise, I would say. Like I call it noise, social media, and like to have like off hours or days, like go on a trip without your phone. I know nowadays it's really difficult, but it can be done a day out, like without your phone. Visit another city, the old school way. Go with the train, for example. Look at the board for the timings of the train. Without a phone, discover a new place. Go to a national park. You'll already see a difference in a day, and just ask yourself, why not do it like more often?
Yeah, and I really agree to what you said, and I think it's a really good tip. Shut off all the noises, because it's important that you are yourself in control over when you want to pick up your phone.
Right.
And every time you're hearing a noise on your phone, you're feeling like looking what is there.
Yeah, literally, like speaking, like that's also like also always helps. Like shut off the notifications on your phone.
Yeah.
If they're important things, you will look at it anyway, like when you have time, like your mail or something, for example. You don't always have to open it when you receive something. You're not always answerable to someone. If there's an emergency from friends and family, they will call you. So in that way you should be we are expected to be always like be available. But it always also is nice just to shut off like everything. Take a moment. It's not realistic to do it all the time, but you will see it as a nice detoxing activity. And on that note, I would like to thank you for this conversation. I think it was a really nice learning opportunity again for both of us, how we think about things. I'm really happy that on a lot of things we are on the same page. Thanks a lot to our listeners. We hope you could get something out of our conversation. For questions, you can always reach out to us on social media. But don't do it too much. Like you can always write to us an email.
But having nice conversations are always good. That's the positive part of it.
So this was another episode of the heygroentje podcast, and it's going fast. We are in season 1, and thanks a lot for joining us. We'll see you next time with another interesting topic on our podcast. Have a nice day ahead.